Hello. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to this live stream. And, as promised, today, I know I put out a poll, but I didn't get too many votes, and the votes didn't really matter, because I already promised we're going to do more of my film collection today. So this is just you know, that was mainly just because polls do better. More people vote, more people see it, but you know, not a lot of people saw it, so whatever. But we're still doing the movie collection today. I've already prepared here the first shelf. As you can see, we're doing the little mini shelf in between. So I already have the first little shelf here prepared, and we'll get started in just a second here. And yeah, by the way, I don't know why, but I couldn't add a thumbnail to this stream for some reason. I don't know why. That didn't help. I made a thumbnail and everything, but it didn't work. I'll try to add one in post, you know, when it's out like a video. But for now, it'll just have to be this. That probably doesn't help. Not a lot of people want to watch a video that doesn't have a thumbnail. There's already not a lot of people watching my stream, so, you know. But anyway, well, we had someone in here who skipped out. All right, bye-bye. How about we get started? Let's just get through as many movies as we can today. And if you have any questions about my movies or movie tips or anything you want to ask me, just go ahead and ask me in the stream. Or in the chat, sorry. But I'll move the thing over here. Can you still hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Please tell me also if the sound isn't very good. I'll turn up a little bit, see if that helps. Okay. Right. So, the first shelf, on the little shelf in between, we have Eaten Alive, a cannibal classic that I've watched approximately once. And I don't remember anything about it. I saw this so long ago. So I can't really tell you much about it. I bought this from a friend when he was selling off his DVD collection. Another friend. I've bought a couple of DVD collections, or parts of DVD collections. And then I got one as a gift from a friend when he was getting rid of most of his movies. But anyway, after that we have Eagle Eye. This was a movie I bought in a grocery store, because I like Shia LaBeouf back in that time. And I remember starting up the movie and really not enjoying it at all. I should have known. They were selling a steel box for like $3. So, I don't know. It wasn't as fun as I thought it was going to be. After that, we have Edge of Tomorrow on 3D. Yes. There was a time when I still own my 3D TV. I just have a better one now that it's not 3D, it's 4K. But I still have my old 3D TV. I saved it because maybe one day I want to watch this in 3D again. And I still have my PS3, so I can watch 3D Blu-rays, so why not? This is a great movie, with or without 3D. Like, really, really good movie. Underappreciated sci-fi action movie. Should check it out. After that, we have the classic, Edward Scissorhands. I've had this DVD for so long. It's probably closing in on 20 years old, this DVD. Yeah, it's from 2002. I probably bought it in 2002 or 2003. It has commentary tracks by both Tim Burton and Danny Elfman in separate commentary tracks. And this is in a, like, regular DVD. And then a featurette, interviews. It's got a bunch of stuff. Not only that, it's a great fucking movie. Amazing Christmas movie, if you haven't watched it. Heartfelt drama. And then we have some more Tim Burton, Johnny Depp movie, Ed Wood. Now this is an underappreciated movie. It's well, it's a biopic about one of the most infamous filmmakers in Hollywood, Ed Wood, the guy who made Plan 9 from Outer Space and Bride of the Monster and some other crap. And it's a really wonderful love letter to old Hollywood and also Ed Wood himself. Really, really well-made movie. One of Tim Burton's best, if maybe not the best. And then we have, whatever it's called. Is it called just El Dorado in America? Yeah, it's a DreamWorks animation movie. They had a stint in like the late '90s with Prince of Egypt and Spirit, I think it was called, and then that other what was it called? They made another like religious movie. I don't remember. Anyway, and they also made this one. Now, it's not a great movie. It's fine, but why I bought this is because of the voice actors. No, not Kenneth Branagh and whatever the other guy's name is. I don't remember. You know, they try to get like a famous couple of guys to make the voices in English, but in Swedish they chose to call them legend is not doing them enough service. They picked Peter Settman and Fredde Granberg, two guys who initially started out making like low budget sketch comedy on Swedish state television. A show about two I don't know what you would call it in English, raggare. Like the kind of people you see listening to like Stray Cats and wearing leather jackets and having like the pompadour hair. They're called raggare in Swedish, and they can be kind of gross. And they made a sketch comedy show about two of those raggare. They kind of became legendary because of that show. Very, very funny show. So they actually hired them to do the voices for the guys in this movie. And they are amazing at it. That's mainly why I bought it. And then we have, oh yeah, Electric Boogaloo. This is an amazing documentary about Canon Films. Canon Productions? Canon Films. The guys who made the Masters of the Universe movie and Invasion USA and made a bunch of... They made the Death Wish sequels. They made so much crap in the 1980s, and they became infamous for making like low budget trash and selling it as like premiere films, and they eventually ran themselves into the ground. But it's a wonderful documentary about them. They didn't like this documentary being made about them, like telling the truth about them and their shady business practices. So they actually made their own documentary and managed to like get their documentary made and released before this one. It was called like The Golden Boys of Hollywood or something, and it was like just a vanity project where they had full creative control. It's not very good, but this one is great. So check this one out, Electric Boogaloo. And then we have the David Lynch, not his first movie, but probably his breakthrough, The Elephant Man. Wonderful, wonderful movie. That other than the visuals does not feel like a David Lynch movie at all. It's kind of like The Straight Story. It's very different, but very, very good. And after that, we have some more elephant themed movies. We have the movie Elephant about it's the what's his name, Gus Van Sant movie about a school shooting. Very powerful stuff. Probably my favorite movie is about my favorite movie about a school shooting. There aren't that many because it's kind of a touchy subject. We got one last year or early this year called what was it called? Run, Hide, Fight. That got a lot of flack. I don't know why. I know it had a lot to do with politics because people could not look past the fact that the Daily Wire, whatever the parent company is called, released the movie. But that movie was actually pretty good. You should check it out. I wanted to make a video about it, but I was like, no, it's too wrapped up in politics. I'm not going to do this. This, however, also very, very good. Check it out. And then we have Elf. This is I'm sorry about the terrible, terrible squished DVD cover, but this is an official release that I bought. And I hadn't seen this when I bought it. I don't think so, at least. But since I bought it, like 10 years ago, it has become one of my, if maybe not my favorite Christmas movie. It is so much fun and full of joy and innocence. And then we have the El Mariachi Trilogy, which is, of course, well, no, we'll have that. The El Mariachi and Desperado. And then, of course, the third movie, Once Upon a Time in Mexico. This was the movie. This actually, Once Upon a Time in Mexico, was the movie that made me fall in love with Johnny Depp as an actor. And after that, I started collecting all of his movies. Wonderful action movies. I still count El Mariachi as one of my favorite movies of all time. It is such a well-made movie for, the experience and the budget involved. And then, this is a movie you probably never heard of. El Mariachi 2. Yes. In 1997, 2 years after Desperado, the actor from El Mariachi, Carlos Gallardo, decided to make his own sequel to El Mariachi. It's not really a sequel. He just took the name because it's a bankable name. Because Desperado is the official sequel to El Mariachi. But he decided to make his own movie because, he wasn't featured heavily in Desperado. He plays one of the mariachi's companions, who's only really in like 2 scenes. But this movie, I found this in Spain, in a little market. I was like, El Mariachi 2 with Carlos Gallardo? I need to watch this. It's terrible. Really, really terrible. I've only watched it once, I think. But, oh yeah, it's also sold under the name Single Action. Yeah. But, at least I have it now. Then we have Elysium Mastered in 4K. Huh, I never thought of that. That doesn't matter since this is on a Blu-ray, so. But it's Elysium. You all know about it. It's the follow-up to District 9, or the director's follow-up to District 9. Nowhere near as good as District 9, but it's still fine. And then we have End of the Tour, or The End of the Tour. A movie I read about, and I reading about it made me find out about David Foster Wallace. I was like, I need to watch this movie. I bought it and never watched it, so I can't tell you much about it. And then we have Enemy, an early film from director Denis Villeneuve, who was in the news now because of his Dune adaptation. This was not his first movie, but he had his breakthrough with Prisoners in 2013, I think, and this came out a couple of years before that, I think. This is a weird movie. I have watched it twice, and I'm not sure I really understand what goes on in this movie. But it is interesting, it is well acted, and it's well worth a watch if you like weird stuff. And then we have Enemy of the State, a childhood favorite of mine. Of course, like most kids my age, I was enamored with Will Smith from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And then you saw him, of course, in Independence Day. And then later you saw him in Enemy of the State. And I remember watching this on TV and like, oh my god, this is such a cool movie. And then eventually, when I grew up, I bought it on Blu-ray. It's still a great movie. Tony Scott, right? Yes, Tony Scott, who is so adept at making exciting action and make it look cool. This is, I feel like this might be a little forgotten, but it's definitely one people should check out. And then we have, yes, another Christmas Carol. I told you about these. This is the Jim Carrey Disney one. I've watched it. It's not my favorite, but it's not bad. And here's another one of my very few 4K buys so far. I have Home Alone, another favorite of mine when it comes to Christmas movies, or just in general. This is a wonderful movie, full of great gags, jokes, and a lot of heart. It's a lot of heart in this movie. And I've watched this 4K last Christmas, and it's really beautifully remastered. I mean, you basically had a wonderful remaster in the Blu-ray, but this is slightly better, especially if you have a big screen. I have to move this a little bit so I don't slap it. And then, of course, I have the sequel. Not as good, still entertaining. But as a grown-up, I'm slowly realizing it's just a cash grab. That's why I only have it on my old DVD still. And here is a personal favorite of mine, Eraser. this is one of those movies I can watch over and over again because it's just perfectly okay. Fun action, perfect run time, yeah, 107 minutes, perfect. And it's just very, very easily digestible. I love this movie for its accessibility. And then we have Escape Plan, made by Michael Hofström, Swedish talent. This was largely passed by most people, it feels like, and when it came out. But this is a fun kind of throwbacky action movie. Not perfect. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't work in it. But you have the first real collaboration between Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone in it. And it's a lot of fun. And then we have Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I watched this once. It was good. It deserves the accolades it got. But I'm not sure I'm going to watch it again. I don't know why. And then we have another childhood favorite of mine. It's E.T., the Extraterrestrial. And this is some collector's edition that I bought at like a sci-fi convention, I think. 3 discs. Where you have the recut 20th anniversary edition with all the CGI stuff in it. And then on disc 2 you have all the special features, and on disc 3 you have the original. And if you're gonna watch this, watch the original. Sure, you get some new scenes in the 20th anniversary edition, but they've also added some CGI, kind of like George Lucas did. He digitized a lot of E.T. and it just looks weird. Just stick to the original, much better. And then this is my favorite Christmas movie of all time. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. This is the best Christmas movie ever made, and I'm pretty sure it will never be surpassed. Not in my lifetime, at least. It is just a perfect... It captures the Christmas spirit perfectly, warts and all, and adds a comedic little sting to it. It's so fucking good. If you haven't watched this, well, check out my channel. I've made a bunch of videos about it, and there is a commentary track on my Patreon for it from last Christmas. So check that one out if you want to. But that's the first shelf of the mini bookcase. So let me get the next one. Yeah. And here we go. Yes. I got it right this time. And now we pull out these. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, fuck. Oh. Oh. Okay. Here we go. I think I'm going to try to move this more over here. No. Damn it. Here. Is that okay? Sound okay? Alright, let's go. We have Interview with a Vampire. Not the first time that vampires were romanticized, but it's probably the one that popularized that style of vampire movie. Very, very good movie. I haven't watched anything else, I think, by Neil Jordan, the director. This was his big break, I think. It's kind of weird. I gotta look that up. But it's a really good movie. Really good movie. Like that, right? Yeah. And then we have Exit Humanity, which is a zombie movie that takes place during the, just after the Civil War in America. I remember I bought it because Brian Cox is the narrator of the movie. That's the big selling point for the movie. I mean, it has Bill Moseley, Stephen McCaddy, and Dee Wallace, which I like. But it's pretty boring. It's not a fun zombie movie. It's a very serious zombie movie, and those aren't fun. And then, now we're going to get into some stuff here. We have the Exorcist Complete Anthology. Now, this is actually a pretty cheap box set of all the movies. But what is kind of cheap looking, nothing special about it. But what is special about it is the fact that you get not only The Exorcist 1, 2, and 3, you also get the prequel, whatever that was called, Exorcist the Beginning. But beyond that, you also get Dominion, the prequel to Exorcist, which is the Paul Schrader directed prequel. I think he wrote and directed Dominion, which was a prequel to The Exorcist, and the studio hated it so much that they fired him, or said, "Oh, thanks for your movie. We're not gonna show this." And then they hired Rennie Harlin to direct a rewritten script where they used like 20% of what Paul Schrader shot, but then just shot a bunch of new stuff and tried to cobble together a movie that they could sell. I haven't watched Dominion. We started watching Dominion, me and a couple of friends, and we were like, "Wait, has any of us seen the Rennie Harlin version, the official version?" And we were like, "No, we should watch that first." And we we're like, "Yeah, let's do that." And then we didn't. So I still haven't watched Dominion or The Beginning, but I would love to, because I love The Exorcist. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and I might actually enjoy Exorcist 3 even more. That's why I bought this Arrow edition. Not just because of that. It has the theatrical cut of Exorcist 3, but it also has Legion, the original movie. Once again, sequels to Exorcist seems to be like the writers and directors want to make one version and the studio want to make another one. So there was William Peter Blatty, who wrote the original Exorcist book and the script for the first movie. He was asked to make a sequel, Exorcist 3. So I don't remember if he wrote the book first or the movie first, but he wrote the script for the movie, and then he got the chance to direct it as well. And he made the Legion movie, the director's cut, and the studio didn't like it. They recut it and sold it as The Exorcist 3. And I gotta say, I bought this specifically so I could watch Legion, because everyone says that's the definitive version of the movie. It's the one William Peter Blatty wanted you to see. Having watched both, Exorcist 3 is better. Honestly, like, the studio recut version is better. Not all the way. There are definitely some things in Legion that are better. But the ending of Legion is terrible in comparison to Exorcist 3. I'm sorry, Blatty. I think you're dead, so rest in peace. But yeah, the studio actually did a good job on cutting your movie. I'm sorry, but it's just the truth. And then we have another big box. It's The Expendables Extended Director's Cut. Yes. I have a 5-disc edition of the first Expendables movie. First of all, yes, there do exists a super duper ultimate edition version of this movie. Now, just like with my Avatar box, it's really only 2 discs, because it's the movie on Blu-ray, the extended cut, and the special features, and then you have the same stuff but on DVD, but on 3 discs. So it's really only like a 3-disc DVD or a 2-disc Blu-ray, but it's cooler when you can sell it as a 5-disc version, And I gotta say, the Expendables movies were universally panned, but I like them. They're not perfect, but they're so much fun. Like, honestly, I like it. And the extended cut, really, I think, is the better version. So unlike Legion, the extended cut of Expendables is actually the better one. And for a movie that no one liked, it's insane that there's so much special features. I mean, there is a 92-minute making of called Inferno. That's a feature-length documentary of the making of the Expendables. And then there is a 46-minute Comic-Con panel, 18-minute, regular featurette behind the scenes. From the Ashes, post-production and release of the movie, 27 minutes. 6-minute gag reel, 10-minute interviews. Ultimate Recon, I don't remember what that is, but it's 50 minutes. I think it's like pre-production stuff. And then a music video called Sinner's Prayer by Sully Erna. Honestly, I can't really recommend this because I know people don't like this one, but I do. So, yeah, that's why I have it. And then, of course, we have the second one, just a regular Blu-ray. Not as good as the first one. This is kind of what I think people thought of the first one. This is boring. And, you know, the whole thing with having all the action stars doesn't really help when they don't have anything to do. That's this one. And then we have the third one. Yes, the one where they went PG-13 in hopes of getting to a wider audience. Doesn't work. However, it's still better than the second one, I think. Even though there are less stars in this one, and more like trying to have like the new roster of action movie stars that never really went anywhere. We don't have any modern like young action stars. It's not just a thing. They try to do it with this. They had like oh, they're not even featured on the front here. What's her name? Nope, she's not even mentioned here. The MMA fighter who was so popular a few years ago. They have her in here. Despite it being PG-13, it is still a lot of fun, and the final action scenes in the abandoned hotel are amazing. And then we have Extract, kind of a spiritual sequel to Office Space, written and directed by Mike Judge, and kind of similar. It has to do with, you know, people working at a, you know, having a regular day job and like drama coming from that. It's a pretty good movie, actually. Not perfect, and definitely not as good as Office Space, but it's a good movie. You definitely should check it out. And then we have Face Off. I will talk about this more in the future, because of course, Madness in a Method is slowly inching its way towards the 1990s movies. So I will talk more about Face Off, but I will say this. It is one of the best action movies of the 1990s, and if you haven't watched it, you really should check it out. And then we have The Faculty, which was supposed to be like the new Scream, where you kind of poke fun at, you know, the whole teenage college horror genre. But people didn't like it, and it kind of fell by the wayside. I mostly like it because I'm a Robert Rodriguez fan, and he directed this. But it's also written by, I think it's written by Kevin Williamson, yeah, who wrote Scream. So there's some to this movie that people just don't seem to realize. And then we have a strange one. This is a movie called Faith Like Potatoes, about a farmer in South Africa who is he's a potato farmer, and he's, you know, stricken by drought, and you know, his farm burns down, and so many troubles, you know, hits him and his family, but his faith in God is what saves him. I was given this movie by a former boss of mine when I quit that job back in 2015, because they were they had some strange stuff going on there. First of all, they were a shady telemarketing company, but beyond that, the boss and like his co-owner, who also worked as like a CFO or something, or CTO, they were really into like reading from the Bible at work. He didn't like me wearing Marilyn Manson shirts, which I did partly to provoke him. He thought Black Sabbath, when we were gonna like pick songs to listen to, like, oh, what do you want to listen to? He had a Spotify. I was like, I want to listen to like some of the older Black Sabbath stuff. And he was like, Black Sabbath. And that wasn't me trying to provoke. I was just trying to pick like a rock band or a heavy metal band that everyone can, you know, listen to. He was like, no, that sounds too demonic for me. And I was like, okay. And with all these weird like trust challenges, you know, team building stuff, and the Bible and Jesus were always involved. So when I quit, I got this movie because, you know, I think they wanted to save me. Very weird. I actually watched them. I was like, maybe I'll like it. I'll watch it. It's not good. It's not terrible. And it's not one of those. It's not super preachy, but it's a little bit. God is good. God is great. You should join God. But the movie in and of itself, not very interesting. Kind of boring. That was a long one, but that's an very interesting story about that movie. At least this version of the movie for me. And then we're Falling Down. I don't know. It's Falling Down. It's a great thriller. If you haven't watched it, definitely do so. I don't know what to say about it. I think I need to speed this up a little bit. How long have we been going? Not too long. Then we have, I think this original title was Keeping Up with the Joneses. No, just the Joneses, which is a movie where like this family is like a walking advertisement. Like all their clothes, all the cars, all the things they buy. It's all like sponsored. So when they move into a neighborhood, they basically selling stuff to their neighbors, and it's an interesting take on like ads and capitalism. And it stars, of course, Fox Mulder. That's why I got the movie. I originally watched this, I think, on a plane. Yes, this is from 2010, and I was flying home or to Bulgaria with my family. And, on planes, they usually have pretty new movies. They have deals with companies, so they actually had this on the plane, and I watched it. And it's pretty good from what I remember. I haven't watched it probably since 2010, but it's a good movie. And then we have The Fanboys. Long, troubled production for this one. It's about a couple of nerds that are going to one of their friends are dying of cancer, so they're trying to get to Skywalker Ranch, or whatever it's called, right? Skywalker Ranch, to get an early copy of The Phantom Menace so that their friend can watch it before he dies. And I remember me and my friends being very interested in like getting a hold of this, because it took like years for them to actually finish it, to like make it and actually manage to distribute it. So when we finally got our hands on it, we were stoked to watch it. And honestly, it's okay. I think we hyped it up a little too much. But, still fun. It's, however, this kind of fandom that has in recent years just become so toxic. I mean, even the ones who are like, oh, we're all inclusive and everything, but they're so it's not a fandom anymore. This is kind of a parody of that kind of fandom back then, but now this is more like a documentary than fandom or a parody. I mean, and it's just that's why I can't really call myself a fan anymore. I don't want to be part of a fandom because fans nowadays are weird. So let's move on to Fantastic Voyage, a classic that I bought because it said classic, and it had Donald Pleasence in it. And I know the plot of it is, a little submarine goes into the bloodstream of a human being. And I gotta say, I didn't like it. It was boring. I probably should rewatch it. Maybe I was too young to appreciate a 60s sci-fi movie. So maybe I'll like it more now, but at the time, no thank you. Didn't like it at all. Ooh, Fantastic Mr. Fox. I bought this because I love, what's his other movies? Royal Tenenbaums. I love, the first one he made? Rushmore. I love Rushmore. And the other movies he made before this. I love pretty much all of them. But this one, I didn't get it. It's so weird because this one probably got the best reviews that he had ever gotten for a movie at the time. And it's fine, I like all the technical aspects of it. The fact that it's all stop motion and shit, but I prefer the Royal Tenenbaums. I still think that's my favorite of his. Then we have Phantom of the Opera. Another one I got from one of those subscription magazines, where you can get movies every month. I don't know. Well, yeah. I don't know if we've... Yeah, we've already talked about Dracula 2001 and how me and my friend loved that movie. And when I found out about this and the fact that the guy who played Dracula in that one, Gerard Butler, played the Phantom in this one, I was like, well, I gotta watch that, of course. So I did. And I don't remember much. It's a good movie from what I remember, but since then, I have really gotten tired of musicals, so I haven't watched this in a long time. Fanboys, written by Ernest Cline of Ready Player One fame. Yes, that's true, and that makes sense once you know who Ernest Cline is. And then we're gonna do a speed run here through the Fast and Furious movies. You know about these, and yes, I have them all. I've bought them several times. I had the second one I had on VHS, and then I bought it on DVD, and now recently I had it on Blu-ray, and I bought all these who are from the same set on Blu-ray, so you can see all the covers are matching. But then I started buying them more individually. So we have this beautiful, beautiful edition of the fifth one. It's probably still my favorite one. And then of course this one is This one, which will always have a little sour note to it because it's the last one where Paul Walker's in it. And then the one where The Rock definitely had too big of a role in it. So I can see why he was not in the ninth one. Still a good movie, though. Fast and Furious. I have unironically been a fan of it since, like, 2003 when I saw Too Fast, Too Furious. No, wait, I saw the Fast and the Furious first. Huh. Anyway. Around 20 years. 20 years at this point, This is right. And then the last one on this shelf is Fast Times at Richmond High. I bought this because I thought it was going to be like Dazed and Confused and other like 80s teen comedies. But I know this one is good, but it's not as good as that. I don't know. I just didn't. It didn't really click for me. It does have Judge Reinhold though, and Nicolas Cage in it for like 10 seconds. That's why we skipped this one in the Madness and the Method podcast because he's barely in it. Oh yes, Phoebe Cates is in it as well from Gremlins. It's a fine movie, but for me it doesn't hold up to the cult status it has. That's that shelf. Let's move on. Oh my god, I'm gonna drop this. I'm so gonna drop this. Why does this feel like there's more movies here? Oh shit. Oh fuck. No, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Alright. Let's see if we can get this now. Ah, good. Here we have some more movies. Oh, no. Ooh. Oh, shit, it's leaning. What the hell? Why is it leaning? There we go. Right. So, we have frequently asked questions about time travel. I don't remember where I saw this first. I think I might have found it on the internet and watched it, and really fell in love with the time travel logic in this movie. And it has kind of an Edgar Wright vibe to it. I think that's why whoever produced this picked it up, because it almost feels like an Edgar Wright Shaun of the Dead-esque movie. Not quite as sharp, but still very good. Definitely check this one out. And then we have Faust, the old Friedrich Wilhelm Murnau masterpiece. I don't know. If you're not into silent movies, you're not gonna like it. But if you can withstand the fact that there's no dialogue in it and everything is in black and white, this is an amazing movie with breathtaking visuals. And some it's really well made. It's a pretty nice edition. It's a Masters of Cinema series on DVD. However, I'm not sure if this is on Blu-ray though. So, you get it's a very nice edition. You get a little booklet, and there's 2 discs with a bunch of special features on it. Very nice, very very good movie if you like this kind of stuff. And then we have another one that I bought from a friend's collection. It's the Criterion, I think. Yeah, Criterion Collection, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of this movie in general. Mostly, you know, because it was in his collection. I was like, well, I don't own it, so I might as well put it in my shelf. But I never I preferred the book, first and foremost. But even the book I thought was just like, fine. But I mean, it is a nice little edition with a cool. No. Hello, can I get out of the? There we go. So then it's just the artwork from the director. What the hell's his name? Terry Gilliam. And then you have this see-through thing with the actual title on it and everything. I mean, since it's Criterion, it has, you know, just like with Faust and the Eureka Masters of Cinema, it has a nice booklet, and there's 2 discs on there. And it's a nice edition, and I know the movie has like a cult status, but I just don't like it that much. It's not my thing. It didn't gin me my jams or whatever. And then we have Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Now, that's a classic that I really like. Oh, my God. It looks like I have a rash. I just scratched myself a little bit. Sorry about that. It's Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Wonderful, wonderful movie. Now, this is kind of 80s teenage comedy that I love. Recently talked about that on a Patreon-exclusive episode of Spoilercast, which you can check out on Patreon. $3. Should be a link down below. If there isn't, I'll put it in the chat. There. I don't know if that works as a link, but you can just copy it. This is the Bueller edition, which is a joke from the movie. It's nothing great. It's just a regular DVD, really. They just called it a Bueller edition, you know, so they could resell it. But I mean, it has some special features on it. Some interviews and behind the scenes stuff. Nothing special though, but still a very good movie. And then we have another 90s classic. It's Field of Dreams. Kind of a cheesy movie, but I really, really enjoy it. I'm a fan of Kevin Costner, so that helps. And it's just a very nice movie. It's very sweet and nice and calm, and it's nice to watch. And then we have The Fifth Element. Now this is a sci-fi classic that more people should watch. This is the classic cover. I would really like to buy some nice edition of this on like Blu-ray or 4K, because this is a beautiful, beautiful movie. The plot, since it is a original sci-fi script written by what's his name, Luc Besson. No, wait, he didn't write it. Oh no, yeah, he did, with Robert Mark Kamen. So, the story's kind of all over the place. But just the execution and the style of the movie is so awesome. Check this one out if you haven't. And then we have Fight Club. It's Fight Club. You know it. It's a classic. It's great. There's not more to say about it. This is the 10th anniversary DVD edition, just remastered on Blu-ray. So that's why it looks kind of... But it's a good movie with a lot of nice special features on it. But we all know it's nothing to talk about. It's Fight Club. And then we have a David O. Russell movie, right? The Fighter. Yes, David Russell. One of his more straightforward movies. Really good performances by Christian Bale and Mark Wahlberg. Probably one of Mark Wahlberg's best performances. Oh yeah, and Amy Adams is great in it. And this was the first movie I saw. What's her name? Melissa Leo in. And after this, I was all like, man, she's a good actress. Realized after this though, that she kind of overdoes it sometimes, but that's her style. So, still a great movie. A lot of good performances. Nice, you know, rags to riches kind of story. Check it out. And then we have The Final Girls. Now this is a really, really awesome horror comedy movie with a meta twist that I won't spoil here, even though I know it's spoiled in the trailers and everything. But this is definitely like this ain't your grandma's horror comedy, if you want to say. It's very nice, and it has some great performances by Taissa Farmiga and everyone involved really. Thomas Middleditch, Alia Shawkat, Malin Ackerman, Adam Devine is even good in this, even though he can be a lot sometimes. I actually made a video about this like way back in 2016 when I like started doing this seriously. I talked about this one, so check that out. And then another one of my Johnny Depp pickups. It's Finding Neverland, the movie about, what's his name? James Barry? James Barry, yes. Who wrote the Peter Pan book, and kind of where he got the inspiration for Peter Pan from. It's a very nice movie. One of those, kind of came and went, but it's nice. Never became a classic, but it's nice. That's all you can say really about it. It's nice. And then we have Fire and Ice. That's a Ralph Bakshi movie, right? Yes, it is. One of those rotoscoped, made for adults animated movies. I don't think I ever finished watching this. I mainly bought it because of the cover, and because I'd heard of Ralph Bakshi making like adult animated movies. So like, I need to watch that. But I think I was a little too young to appreciate it, so I never finished it. And then we have First Snow, a movie I found in a bargain bin in some movie store somewhere, because it has what's his name, Guy Pearce in it. They're like, ooh, it's kind of like Memento, which is it's not, but it's about a guy corporate guy who when he gets stuck in a little podunk town, goes to the local psychic who tells him that you're going to die when the first snow falls, and him like, sure. But then he starts getting nervous, like, am I really gonna die? And him like trying to make amends, basically, sort of, and trying to stop himself from dying, of course. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I don't know what to say. It's pretty good. Oh Jesus. And then we have Fitzcarraldo, the Vern Herzog movie about a guy who wants to build an opera house in the middle of the Amazon, and he's going to do it on a boat. So they actually pulled a boat, a giant ship, over a mountain. That's what happens in the movie, but they also did it physically while making the movie. This is an insane movie. Wonderful, beautiful, bombastic. It's just amazing performance by Klaus Kinski. This is heavy duty filmmaking. Beautiful movie, masterpieces here, and I completely agree. This is a masterpiece that you need to watch if you enjoy movies. And then we have, I'm sorry to say, Escape from New York. I know it's a movie a lot of people love. It's a cult classic. It's John Carpenter. Some say it's John Carpenter's finest moment. I think it's boring. I think it's bad. I watched it when I was a kid. Didn't like it. I rewatched it now last year, I think, when I made my video about Carpenter. And I was like, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I like it. But I don't. A movie can't live on mood alone. And that's all you get in this. It's very moody, with its long lenses and anamorphic lenses, I should say, abandoned houses and lighting and everything, and it's moody. It's pretty good looking, but it's not a very interesting movie to watch. However, John Carpenter also made The Fog. Oh, sorry, nothing. Don't worry. He made The Fog, which is a kind of a classic ghost story with pirate ghosts in it. Sorry for spoiling that. Once again, it's very slow, very moody, but this one at least has an interesting story. So I definitely prefer this over Escape from New York. This is up there with my favorite Carpenter movies. Because even though I called him a hack fraud in my video, I do like some of his movies, like I say in that video. Anyway, let's move on. to oh, it's a documentary. It's Foo Fighters Back and Forth. It was released in 2011, yes, when they were releasing what was that album called? It was one where they got back Pat Smear as a second guitar player. Something about Lights? I don't remember, but that was probably their last good album. It was one after Echoes and Silence, Patience and Grace, where they took kind of a hiatus. Either way, it kind of chronicles all the way back from basically the forming of Nirvana, but picking up more when they break up because of Kurt Cobain's passing, and Dave Grohl's struggles with trying to kind of becoming his own musician, not just being that guy from Nirvana, and then creating Foo Fighters and all the back and forth that went on with creating that band and creating their discography, and then ending with, I think it ends with their live performance at Wembley Stadium when they're supporting or touring for the album. I don't remember the name of it. Does it say here? Color and Shape, In Your Honor, Echoes and Grace. Wasting Light. That's what it's called. Wasting Light. Yeah. Good album. Good documentary. Even if it's kind of a fluff piece, but it's still good if you're a Foo Fighters fan, which I am. Still, for the most part, even though they haven't released a good song in years, so they're kind of boring. And then we have the classic Footloose. Such a fucking great movie. I prefer dancing movies over musicals, because dancing movies still have emotions in them, not just songs. And I picked this up because it's a deluxe edition, and it has some pretty good special stuff on it. Is Laurie Singer in it? How did I forget about that? Anyway, this is it's a classic, and I can see why it is a classic. There's not much more to say about it. It's a movie about a town where it's forbidden to dance, and this guy who comes from the big city and is like, man, I gotta dance. I can't live without dance. And then he reintroduces dancing, and it's not really about dance. It's about it's about freedom. Dance is just a metaphor for freedom, basically, and emotion and love. And it's a wonderful movie with a lot of good dance scenes in it. Rest in peace, Chris Penn, who has a wonderful role in this. He is so good in this. And then we have the sequel to A Fistful of Dollars for a few dollars more. This is not as nice of an edition as My Fistful of Dollars, but it's from the same collection. But this is the Swedish edition, so doesn't have the nice paper cover and everything. But it's still a very, very good movie. Almost actually better than Fistful of Dollars. And it has 3 long documentaries on it, and I think it has a commentary track. Doesn't say, but I'm pretty sure it has a commentary track once again by Sir Christopher Frayling. Wonderful movie. One of the only 3 really good spaghetti westerns. There are other ones, but the Leone movies are just in a class of their own. No one tops Sergio Leone when it comes to spaghetti westerns, at least that I've seen. And then we have Forgetting Sarah Marshall, kind of a Judd Apatow era comedy. It has a lot of those actors in it, but I'm not sure he's involved in it. No, it's produced by Judd Apatow. Yeah. That's why Jason Segel got to write it. I mean, it was his story, so. And you have Nick Stoller directing it. It's fun. It's one of those comfort movies I can watch over and over again because Jason Segel is very likable, and there's a lot of fun just jokes in it. But it's not a masterpiece. It's not really up there with Superbad or 40-Year-Old Virgin, but it's still a good one. So check it out if you like those kind of movies. And then we have Forgotten Silver. Now, this is an interesting... Oh, I almost don't want to say too much. If you don't know about this one, you know what? It is I'm not going to show anything more, even though the text is in Swedish. I'm not going to show anymore. This is a documentary that Peter Jackson made in 96? Probably made it in 95 then. about a forgotten New Zealander filmmaker, that the in secret basically revolutionized filmmaking. He like did some of the earliest movies with sound and movies with color, and Peter Jackson basically found all this material and wanted to chronicle this filmmaker's life, because he died in the Second World War while filming it. So you know what? You should just check it out. Forgotten Silver. Check it out. Do not read up on it. Just check out the movie. It's really good. That's all I have to say. And here's a weird one. It's For Love of the Game, and it's still, I don't know if you can hear that, it's still in plastic. I bought this after seeing it on TV and realizing that it's a sports drama made by Sam Raimi? Huh? I know he went on to make like more mainstream stuff after Evil Dead, but this one just caught me off guard. But I liked it, and I am a Sam Raimi fan, so I thought I should have this in my collection. I never watched it after buying it, but I at least have it in my collection. And then we have For Love or Money, sorry. And I don't remember why I bought this. I think I'd seen it on TV many, many years ago, and it was like, I saw it on like Disc Shop, which is a web shop for movies here in Sweden. And I was like, oh, I should get that. And I watched it once, and I was like, yeah, it's pretty good, but nothing special. I think it came out in like the early 90s. 93? Really? Did it really come? Can anyone in the chat welcome anyone, by the way? Was it really made in 1993? Yes, it is. Huh. I thought he had kind of stopped by that point because his Parkinson's was really starting to affect him in like the early 90s. Let's see if it says anything. Second of two films on Michael J. Fox started in 1993. Okay. Doesn't say anything. Doesn't say. Anyway, sorry. I got caught up, as I usually do, in watching stuff on IMDb. But let's move on to Foxcatcher. This was a movie I saw in the Stockholm Film Festival in 2014. Probably the only year where I really went and saw as many movies as I could. Other years I've just watched like one or two movies. But I saw a lot of movies. I saw Nightcrawler, I saw Foxcatcher, I saw something else, I don't remember, Birdman, saw something else. And Foxcatcher really caught me off guard. I mean, of course, I'd seen the trailer before, and I was very intrigued to see if, after showing that he was really funny in 21 and 22 Jump Street, or 21 Jump Street, what's his name? Why am I so bad with names? Channing Tatum could like do a physical, like dramatic acting role, and he definitely can. This is an acting tour de force by these three actors. And it's such a dark and ominous movie. It's wonderful if you like that kind of stuff. Check it out. Definitely check it out. It's a Bennett Miller movie. That should help you. And then we have Four Rooms, another movie I picked up in Spain in like 2000 and... When was I in Spain? 2007? I don't even remember. No, not 2007. I don't remember. But it's another one. I picked it up because I never heard of it. Or had I? I don't remember, but I picked it up because it's 4 short films that are kind of loosely connected, because they all take place on the same night in a hotel. And one of the shorts is directed by Robert Rodriguez, and the other by Quentin Tarantino. That's why I picked it up. And those are really the 2 ones you remember. The other ones are made by Alexander Rockwell and Alison Anders. and they're fine. But I mean, the selling point was really Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez, and it's a pretty good movie. Far from perfect, but it's a pretty good movie. And that's the third shelf. Let me get more. Yeah, these are shorter shelves. That's why we're going through this faster. But I'm not going to stop once we're done with this little bookcase. We'll start working on the next shelf as well, of course. Because we've only been going for like an hour, right? Yeah, about an hour. Oh, Jesus Christ. Don't hit anything? Nope. Oh, I can just slow. Oh, okay. I'm going to minimize risk here. I'm not going to stand up. I'll just slide it in like this. Yes. Ah. Oh, this shelf is gonna be really quick too. And we have some more people in the chat. Welcome to the stream. We're talking movies. My movie collection here. I just gotta... Hold on. Whet my whistle. And we continue with The Fountain. Probably my favorite Darren Aronofsky movie. I know this one was kind of passed by. But I think it's a sci-fi or like fantasy masterpiece. So beautiful, so heart-wrenching. Great performances by Rachel Weisz and what's his name? Hugh Jackman. Sorry, Wolverine guy. It is yes, like it says here, dazzling, a stunning movie, as deeply felt as it is imagined. That is a perfect pull quote. And I remember I saw this, it was one of those, another one of those movies that I found online once I heard about it, you know. And I showed this to my friends, and none of them had seen it. We were like 5 people, including me, I think. 5 or 6 people, including me. And nobody knew what to expect. I was just, oh, it's a really good movie. And usually when we watch movies, people talk, you know, especially people like girlfriends or whatever. They aren't as into movies as me and my friends are. Oh my god, I'm sorry. They like start talking, or you know, and maybe if it's a movie we've seen, we all start talking like about stuff we like in the movie. This one, everyone was, I mean, it was completely quiet in the room the entire movie. And when the credits started rolling, everyone was like, that was a really good movie. I was like, yes, I know. I know. It is very, very good. You should check it out. And then we have Forrest Gump. Why? Because it's required. I know not everybody likes it. I know a certain friend of mine does not like it, or at least didn't used to like it. I haven't asked him in a long time. But this is just such a wonderful little movie. I can't really understand why someone wouldn't like it. And then we have a classic. It's Frankenstein. Very, very good movie. Even though it's not a perfect adaptation of the book. It's still a very good horror movie. But not my favorites. That's Bride of Frankenstein. But I think we already did that, right? We should have done it. It's B for Bride. So, but now we're gonna go a little speed run here again. We're gonna talk about the Friday the 13th movies. Oh shit! So we have the first one. It's boring. Freddy isn't in it. They try to be like a Giallo or like rip off Halloween, but it's just boring. Then we have the second one, which is actually the first time Jason is in it. It's okay. Then we have the third one. It has a 3D gimmick. Unfortunately, I don't think... No, this is not the 3D edition, you know, the red and blue 3D edition. It's fine. But if you really want to talk about the good Friday the 13th movies, and that is good. Because none of them are really, well, you know, good. But you have, of course, Friday the 13th Part 4, The Final Friday. The one where they kill him. It's actually pretty good. Especially Crispin Glover and his manic dancing in this movie is the stuff of legends. Check it out. Then you have the two sequels. No, wait, sorry. Then you have the one that no one remembers because once again Jason isn't in it. It's an imposter, killing people at like a home for troubled kids. It's just so overdone and it's so formulaic, boring. No, you see, I messed it up again. That's part 6. No? I always messed it up. Yes, this is the one at the troubled kids' home. This is the one where he no longer lives at that home, and he goes to dig up Jason's grave and inadvertently wakes him up. This one I used to not like. I actually had mostly forgotten about this one until I saw the review with Jay and Josh, where they talked about the sequels, and they pointed this one out, and I was like, really? This one is good? Rewatched it, and you know what? It's pretty funny. It's kind of almost like a parody of a lot of the Friday the 13th stuff. Still not great, but at least it's something. And then we have the 7th one, which if you look into this one, it was supposed to be the one where they really went for, you know, Oscar bait. They thought they were going to win Oscars with this one. You can see why. There's definitely more, you know, about the final girl has like an arc, and there's more like drama involved, but it just becomes boring because of it. And then the one that used to be my favorite, that's why I actually bought a nice, ooh, wow, look, sorry about burping, a nice deluxe edition of it. It's not really deluxe. It has a commentary track and a making of, that's about it. I bought this at a science fiction convention. I used to love this one because it takes place in Manhattan and it has like some fun jokes in Manhattan. But really, this is a terrible movie when I rewatched it like a couple of years ago. Terrible movie. And then we have the one that I remember from my childhood. I'm always seeing the VHS copy of Jason Goes to Hell at my friend's house. And I think we watched it once. And I didn't know what the Friday the 13th movies was at the time. I was like 10, 12 maybe. Sorry. The thing is, since I didn't know who Jason was, I didn't realize that, oh, Jason isn't in this very much. There's a bunch of other people being possessed by his spirit. But then rewatching it, you're like, Jason isn't in this. Why am I watching this crap? And then we have Jason Goes to Space, or Jason X. This is one of my favorites. Once again, the guy who made this movie, Jim Isaac, I think it was the director or the writer, actually intended for this to be like more of a serious movie, like going back to the first 3 movies being sort of more like a serious horror movie. But the studio kind of recut it into more like a fun, campy movie like number 6 or 8, you know? But there's still some remnants of that serious tone in the movie, which makes it very tonally inconsistent. Still very fun, though. It actually, I think it holds up better than some of the sequels. And then we have my guilty pleasure. It's Freddy vs. Jason. It's directed by Ronnie Yu, who made the 51st State, which I talked about in the last episode. I really loved that movie, so that's why I saw this one as well. I haven't watched this in a long time, but I think they figure out how to put both killers in the movie in a pretty good way. It's schlock, but it's good. That was a bad speed round, right? Sorry about that. Let's move on. With the Dadaist masterpiece, Freddie Got Fingered. Yes, this is an avant-garde art piece. This should be in some sort of museum. I'm not even joking. This is art house mastery. I can't believe we don't have this on like 4K 10-disc Blu-ray where every minute of the production is chronicled. This is a masterpiece. I'm not even lying. It is amazing. Watch it. Freddie Got Fingered. I don't know if I said that. And then we have The Peacemaker. It was a movie I saw a lot of ads for in like newspapers and magazines back in the 90s. What, 95? 90 something? 97? Never watched it, and I found this old DVD from like 2000. I think I bought it at like a fair or somewhere, you know, or like a garage sale, sort of. But I never watched it, so I don't know if it's good or not. I haven't watched it. And then we have The French Connection. It's not one of those. We don't need to talk about this. This is a classic, a masterpiece. William Friedkin, one of his best movies. You need to check it out. And then we have The Frighteners, the movie responsible for the creation of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, because Peter Jackson really wanted to go all out on his new movie, so he bought like tons of computers to create all the still pretty good CGI effects in this movie. But then he was like, and this was in 95 when he made the movie, and when the movie was released in 96 and it was a pretty big hit, he was like, "What I'm gonna do with all these computers? They're just gonna stand there, and they're not gonna, they're just gonna cost me money basically, since I only used them for one movie." So he's like, "What can we make that needs a lot of computer power? Lord of the Rings? On a huge scale? Why not?" So this is the reason why the Lord of the Rings movies exist. And he actually says this on this DVD. I think this was released in no, it's from 2005. Yeah, so after the craze of the Lord of the Rings movies, it started to die down a little bit. He started talking about it. It's Peter Jackson's director's cut as well. I've only seen the original cut once, I think, on TV, and after that I bought this. So, I don't remember the differences. And then we have another Johnny Depp movie. It's From Hell. Kind of fun. It's made by the Hughes brothers. I don't remember their names. But they were known mainly for making, like, cool, like, crime gang movies. I think they made Dead Presidents and some other, like, crime movie like that. And then we're like, no, we're going to adapt this Victorian age horror thriller based on the Jack the Ripper murders. It's a very interesting take on that, and they did it well. I know it's got poor reviews when it came out, but I like it. I know the channel History Buffs talks about it, how it's not very historically accurate, but that doesn't really matter to me. It's an adaptation of a comic book, so it's not supposed to be an adaptation of reality. But he also says that it's not a good movie just in general. I disagree with that. I think it's a well-made movie with some good performances, especially by Johnny Depp. Once again, another movie I bought, or I got this for Christmas because of my Johnny Depp obsession at the time. And then we have Frost Nixon, a wonderful movie with one of the greatest quotes of all time. When Frost asks Nixon, "Oh, so you're telling me that it's okay for the president to break the law?" And Nixon just say, "I'm saying that when the president does it, it is not against the law." And the movie just goes quiet. And Frost just looks at him and says, "I'm sorry?" And he realized, and Nixon, like, you see it in his face, like, I fucked up. This stupid brick got to me. Amazing. The movie overall is good. It's a very good movie, but specifically that moment it's etched into my mind as one of the greatest cinematic moments of all time. It is so fucking well made. Check out this movie. And then we have Fury, kind of a forgotten war movie made by David Ayer right before he started working on the Suicide Squad, unfortunately. This is, I think they kind of tried to make like the next Saving Private Ryan, or like do that, but it's smaller in scale, much more brutal and grimy, believe it or not. But I think this should be up there with some of the more famous, like not crime movies, war movies. It's very, very well made, and it makes the inside of a tank exciting, which it shouldn't be. And then we have Funny People, one of the few really good movies that Adam Sandler is involved in. We talk about this, of course, in the Adam Sandler podcast, which you can check out on this channel. And I think we both really like this movie. It's good. It's a nice drama. And, you know, it is partly based on Adam Sandler's real life. And it really feels like, you know, he was going to turn a new leaf in his career after this movie. But he just went back to making trash, like Pixels and Ridiculous Six and 2 grown-up movies. I think actually the next movie he made after this was the first Grown Ups. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, man. He didn't learn anything. Whatever, I don't want to. Check out the episode. It's somewhere. Then we have some German war drama. It's Napola is the original title. It's the Führer's Elite in Swedish, or in English, I think. Yeah, it's about teenagers in the early days of the Nazi regime. I think just before the war really breaks out, they're being trained to become SS soldiers, basically. The Führer's Elite. It's harsh. It's brutal. It's Europeans. You know, it's gonna be violent and extra harsh and brutal. And it's a really good movie. Really good. I haven't watched it in a long time, but I remember really liking it. And then we have another Swedish movie. I don't have a lot of Swedish movies, but I do have this one. It's going to be hard to explain this one. It's called 4 Nuances of Brown. And you have, of course, the Swedish flag there represented in brown. And it's basically 4 almost feature-length stories. I think they're like... it's because the movie's 3 hours and 4 minutes, so each movie is about like 45 minutes long, or each story, and it's really, you know, four stories of melancholia and sadness in Sweden. Some more relatable than others. I don't know why it was released in this weird, looks like almost like a CD case, but a big CD case. It almost looks like a CD. I don't know why it was released this way. But it's made by a comedy group here in Sweden called Killinggänget, who they almost like, they say this themselves. I'm not sure it's true, but they kind of pioneered satire, sarcasm as an art form in Sweden. They started off making some like just pure comedy, but then started injecting a lot of like darkness into their comedy later on, and they kind of culminated in this their final product, which is it's not funny. I mean, it has a couple of funny jokes in it, and then, you know, some of the stuff in it is so dark that it becomes funny, but it's not a comedy. They later released it as a 4-hour miniseries where they had uncut, or at least longer cuts of each story. And I think that's actually better than this, the cinema version. And then last but not least on this shelf is Born on the 4th of July, which I covered in the 1989 Celebration series, which I made on this show. It's not my favorite Oliver Stone war movie. That's, of course, The Platoon. But this one is, I think it's very, very good. It's a very nice movie. Kind of all over the place, but still very good. That's that. We have 2 more shelves. I gotta, hold on. I gotta try and move this over. Like, maybe I can have it over here. It's easier for me to maneuver the movies. Can you still hear me? Hello? Stupid. Yeah. There we go. Hello. Yeah, that's pretty good. And now I can Yeah, that's good. All right, let's move on. Don't drop it. Oh, shit. Oh. Almost. Not quite. Not today, motherfucker. Ugh. Oh. Well, I almost dropped that one, as you can see. Jesus Christ. Oh. Okay. Let's speed run this shelf. I keep saying that, but Gamer, weird movie. Not at all what I thought it was going to be when I bought it. Okay, but weird. Gangs of New York. This is a very good movie, but a terrible DVD, since the movie's pretty long. It's like but I mean, it's not overly long. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes, which is far from the longest movie you've ever seen. But for some reason, it's cut up into 2 DVDs, and that's not just movie special features. The movie's on 2 discs. You have to switch the disc, even though it's only 2 hours and 40 minutes, and I don't know why. I don't know why, but that's a problem with this one. Great movie, terrible DVD edition. Gangster Squad. I thoroughly enjoyed this in the cinema, so I bought it, and since then I've never watched it again. Maybe I was just swept up in it while watching it. I don't know. Get the Gringo. This was the first time people talked about a Mel Gibson comeback, even though it was only like a year since he made his last movie, which was Edge of Darkness. But this was, during that time where he tried to like slowly ease himself into Hollywood again after his, outbursts, so to speak. Pretty good movie, actually. Then we have the classic Ghost in the Shell. I'm gonna be controversial here with some hot takes and say this is a good movie. That's why I have it. But I prefer the 2017 version. Okay, thank you. And yes, it's because Scarlett Johansson wears very, very tight-fitting suits in that one. Yes, that's why. I also think it's a more concise story, and it actually tells the story of that character instead of telling the general story of robots like this does. Sue me. The second one, I think I started watching it. It's Ghost in the Shell 2. But I can't tell you what happened in this one. I know it's very beautifully drawn. All the animations are amazing. But I cannot, for the life of me, remember what happens in it. And then we have another childhood classic, and I guess a kind of a guilty pleasure. It's Ghost Ship. I love the idea of ghost ships, even though I know that it's not real. It's currents mostly, but the idea of ghost ships, it's so alluring to me. I don't know if I've talked about this, but of course I like ghosts. I have never seen one, so I can't say I believe in them, but I want to believe, like Fox Mulder says. And then ghost ships are my favorite version of the haunted house. And I think this is one of the few movies that actually uses the ghost ship concept to tell a story. And it's not perfect, far from it. But you've probably seen the intro scene, the one where everyone gets cut in half on the dance floor on the ship. That scene is kind of legendary, but not a lot of people like the movie. They've just seen that scene. And then we have Ghost Rider, right? Yeah, the Ghost Rider. It's a Roman Polanski movie. That's why I bought it. I watched it once, and yeah, I was 19, and it was not the right time for me to watch this. I need to rewatch this because I remember it was boring. But I mean, it should be good. I need to rewatch it. Then we have The Gift, another one of those. Oh, it's a Sam Raimi movie. I need to buy it. It's pretty good. I prefer his more zany stuff, but this one is still pretty good. And I mean, you do have Giovanni Ribisi, Keanu Reeves, what's her name? Kate Blanchett. Good actors, giving mostly good performances, and it's a pretty good horror thriller. And then we have The Gift. Now I know Mike and Jay talked about this on Half in the Bag. I saw it before that, but either way, and I think this is a very, very well made thriller. It's directed by, I don't know if he wrote it as well, but it's directed by Joel Edgerton, and that's why I was interested in it. And it's kind of a Fincher-esque movie. And I really liked it. I really liked it. And then we have What's Eating Gilbert Grape, or just Gilbert Grape in Swedish. Movie I saw when I was a kid, and I was so taken aback by it that I had to buy it once I started collecting Johnny Depp movies. And I still think this is an amazing movie. I know a lot of people don't like Leonardo DiCaprio in it. But if you know anyone with like on the far end of the autism spectrum, his performance is fucking spot on. And I know some people don't like DiCaprio because they say, oh, he has no range, or like he's always plays the same. Check this one out. It's one of the best performances in a movie I've ever seen. I don't know. Fuck it. You know how they say in Tropic Thunder you never go full retard because then you don't win any Oscars? DiCaprio went full retard, so to speak. You shouldn't call him that, but you know. You shouldn't call people that, of course. But he went for it, and the performance is spot on. Then we have Hostage, a movie. I don't remember why. I remember renting this in like 2005, when it came out. Sort of in the tail end of renting movies here in Sweden. I mean, you still can, like, in one or two stores. But we used to have a video store in our little mall in Skogås, where I grew up. And it was right around the time when I was allowed to rent movies by myself. Because, if you went in there as a 10-year-old, it was like, now I'm going to rent a movie to you. You need to get your parents to rent it for you. So when I was like 15, I'm like, I'm going to start renting movies. And it was around the time they started like shutting down all the rental places. But I remember renting this because I had read about it, I think. And I really liked it. And I didn't know it at the time. But I'm a fan of the 2001, 2002 movie Get Over It. First movie I ever saw Ben Foster in. But this was the movie where I like, wait, this Ben Foster guy, he's a really good actor. He plays like the bad guy in this. So this one is the one that sparked my interest for Ben Foster. The movie in and of itself, it's pretty good. I mean, it's nothing special, but it's pretty good. It's one of the last times that Bruce Willis actually cared about acting. It was shortly after this he stopped. And then we have the extended edition of Gladiator. This is a wonderful movie, whatever people say. This is a masterpiece, but it's also one of those movies, because usually masterpieces are kind of inaccessible to a mainstream audience. But then you have those crossover movies like this, or The Last Samurai, or I don't know what else is a masterpiece, a crossover masterpiece. I was going to say Gladiator, but that's this one. Either way, this is a wonderful, wonderful movie that perfectly blends like technical filmmaking with emotional filmmaking. And this like 3-hour cut is amazing. 2 hour 44 actually. All right, sorry, but it's great, and this edition is beautiful. You can do that. Look at that. Ooh, it almost lines up. Boom. And then you have 3 discs. Always nice. This is the kind of editions that I like. You have a little booklet here. 2 discs of special features. It's wonderful. One of my favorite Ridley Scott movies. Did I put it in the wrong way now? No. And then we have The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, the final movie in the Dollar Trilogy, and probably could be the best Western movie ever made. Best Western movie. I don't know. Once again, it builds on the style and the feeling of Fistful and For a Few Dollars More, and this is the magnum opus in that trilogy. It's beautiful, wonderful. It's just the music, the sound, the vision, the story, everything. This is a fucking masterpiece. Check it out. Even if you don't like westerns, check it out. It's a masterpiece. And then we have the Godfather movies, in what I consider to be the best looking edition. It hasn't aged very well. The picture quality is quite bad, especially if you compare it to some of the later Blu-ray releases, and now even 4K releases. I've seen it in full HD, not 4K, but these DVDs, they don't look good anymore. But the look of the box, the very sleek cover, and the actual movies inside. You have, this is the bonus materials. But you see, on each of the movies, you have the main Godfather in the movie, 3, 2, and 1, and it's just so. I love this. It's just so. It's so tastefully made. You know, it looks so nice, and that's really why I haven't upgraded to any other box set or collection. I would like to, because it looks much better on Blu-ray or on 4K. But then I would still keep this like in my shelf. And then we have the 1998 Godzilla. Yes, I have it on Blu-ray. You know why? Because this is, I don't care what people say. I made a video about this. This is a good movie. This is probably, of all the American like adaptations of the original Gojira, this one gets it the most. This one is the most faithful and understands the point of the original. It's not a great movie, but it's also one of those that I loved as a kid. That's also why I like it. But then, of course, you gotta have the original Gojira. This is a pretty nice edition of the original. This is a masterpiece. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. You really need to check this one out. Fuck these new Warner Brothers Godzilla movies. They suck. I hate them. They don't understand the source material, unlike this one. And yeah, check this one out if you're a kaiju fan. I have this guy keeps commenting on my videos. I think he's called something Jameson. And he just hates my review of Godzilla King of the Monsters. So this is for you, man. Fuck Godzilla King of the Monsters. Fuck these new kaiju movies. These two are the real kings of the monsters. Yeah, suck on that one. Oh, I don't like the. This has one of those old school Blu-ray cases where it has like a little latch on it, like stupid. And then we have Peter Jackson's debut movie. Nope. This we already passed that one. This is a documentary made about bad taste. Good taste made bad taste. And it's yeah, it's just a 24 minute thing. It was part of a box set of his old movies. It had Bad Taste, Brain Dead, Meet the Feebles, and Forgotten Silver. And then it had this one. But I originally saw this on a VHS cassette of Bad Taste, where after the movie you got 24 minutes of extra material, which was this documentary. And it's very nice. It really shows how you make a zero-budget movie as well as Peter Jackson does. Wonderful, wonderful little documentary. And then we have, Goodwill Hunting. I haven't watched this since I was like a kid. I remember it being very good, but I can't tell you what I really thought of it. Sorry. But it's Goodwill Hunting, you know. Everyone likes it, right? Right? And then we have another childhood favorite, Gone Fishing. It's a movie about two friends going fishing and getting swooped up in some criminal malarkey. I'm pretty sure this was like panned on release, but me and a friend, we used to watch this like a lot after school. He had it, I think he had it on a recorded off the TV on a VHS cassette. And when I finally found this, and like I think it was once again like a yard sale, I was like, ooh, Gone Fishing. Well, I need to have that in my collection. So I bought it. I still love it. I can't help it. Gone Girl. Which has some weird, like little smudges. It's not like the paper, because this is all paper slipcase. Oh, sorry. This way, it's a paper, one of these. Not very nice. But it's very sleek looking, kind of like the Godfather one, with this, and the back is just this, nothing on it. But you see these things? You see that? There? Sorry, there? Looks like someone's rubbed off the color, but it's actually printed on. I don't know what that is. So annoying. Either way, great fucking movie. Has one of the most terrifying murders ever. Just watch at your own be careful when you're watching it. It's David Fincher. I think it's up there with one of his better movies. I don't have much more to say about it. And then the Grand Budapest Hotel, a movie I bought because I love what's his name? Paul Anderson? Wes Anderson. Sorry, Wes Anderson. I bought it back in when it was new, like in 2018. No, not 2018. 2015, 2014. 2014. So I bought it in 2015. I've never watched it. It's just one of those I never got around to watching. I know I'm terrible. I didn't watch it. Okay. Oh my god. I'm losing my voice. We continue with the final shelf in the mini bookcase. Oh fuck, don't drop it. Don't. And here we go. Ew, there's an old hair here from when I had long hair. Ew! Let's see if I can actually speedrun this one. Grand Piano. Elijah Wood, John Cusack in a music-themed thriller, actually written by Damien Chazelle, like right before he made his greatest movie. Oh no, Whiplash. Sorry, Whiplash. He's always made like music movies, except for First Man, I suppose. But this is wonderful. Not on the same level of Whiplash or like La La Land or even First Man, but still a wonderful, wonderful movie. And it was really fun to see Elijah Wood. And I don't like that they show John Cusack on here, because he's kind of a mystery. It's kind of a phone booth kind of movie where he is just in the shadows, always pointing a laser sight on Elijah Wood while he's performing on the grand piano. So it's too bad that they show off here, because it's kind of a fun reveal towards the end of the movie, but whatever. Then we have Grand Theft Auto. Yes, that's where it actually comes from. The name of the game, and even some of the design of the game. It's about a guy who steals a car. I don't remember exactly what happens in it. Yeah, it's two teenagers running away to get married because the father of the woman with the girl. They're like, no, you shouldn't marry this goof. You should marry this rich scumbag, because, you know, that's better. And they're like, no, and they run away. They steal a car, and there's like, yeah, it actually says 15 car crashes, 23 demolished cars, 24 explosions. This is the greatest demolition derby ever caught on film. I bought this mainly because it says Grand Theft Auto on it, and it's not great, but it's fine. It has some fun 70s car chases, you know. Now we have Gran Torino. I think this is a really, really well-made movie. It is definitely a Clint Eastwood movie. We have Gravity, a movie that I don't. Once again, I gotta bring up Red Letter Media. I don't think they understood this movie. This is not a movie about Sandra Bullock escaping space. It's about death and rebirth. If you really look at it, this is a fucking masterpiece. And sure, there is some silly stuff with her using a fire extinguisher to propel herself through space between two space stations. It's a little much, yes, but the imagery and the themes and the music and all the special effects, it's breathtaking filmmaking. And if you can, actually watch it in 3D. This is one of those movies that is made for 3D. So watch it. Greenland. Probably the first movie I bought on 4K when my parents had just bought a 4K player. Because they had a 4K TV from before, but I was like, you're not utilizing your 4K TV, so let's buy a 4K player. And I bought this movie because my dad had seen the trailer. And he's like, that looks exciting. And I'm, of course, a fan of disaster movies and Gerard Butler. So I was like, yes, let's get this. And you know what? It's actually pretty good. I think it's really good, actually. I don't know how they're going to make a sequel to this, but they are, so I don't know. We have Gremlins. I don't need to explain why. It's a classic. Another great Christmas movie, or kind of like, you could almost watch it like in November between Halloween and Christmas. Still great, though. The Grey, from one of my favorite directors of all time, Joe Carnahan, who of course made Narc and A-Team, and then he made this with Liam Neeson afterwards, The Grey, which they sold as like this survival action movie, which is not. It's a drama it's a survival drama, but not just surviving physically, but surviving mentally and spiritually, with some action. But it's definitely not an action movie. So I recommend you to check this one out, even though you've heard it's not good. And we have The Grinch, another classic horror movie, Christmas movie. This has a definite like TV movie feel, but I can't deny that I still love it. And then we have the original The Grudge, Ju-on. This movie scared me to death when I saw it. I had heard of the American The Grudge, but a friend of mine, he was into Japanese, not like a weeb thing. It was like I think he had some family in Japan, so he was like into Japanese stuff. So he had. No, that's not true. This was not. He didn't have this. I showed this to him. And we screamed like little girls. This was back in like my even before high school. So I was living at home, of course, and we were watching it right after school. So it was like pretty early, like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. My dad had just come home from work, and we were screaming like little girls. And after he had we had pulled the curtains down and everything, closed the door. And he just opened, like, what are you doing in here? We were, like, screaming loud. I was like, what's going on? And that scared us even more. It's a really scary movie, and it's definitely better than the American remake. The American remake is good, but this is just leagues better. And then we have Guarding Tess, a pretty new purchase, which was in preparation for the Madness in the Method podcast. So I haven't watched this one yet. We're getting pretty close to Guarding Tess, but I haven't watched it yet, so I can't tell anything about it. You'll just have to wait for that episode of the Madness in the Method podcast, which is available here on YouTube and also on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. It's right there. Just Google or just look for Madness in the Method. And then we have Guns Akimbo, a movie I bought because it's the one with the pictures of Daniel Radcliffe running around in a robe, brandishing 2 guns in the middle of the street, which was a short-lived meme. I was like, well, I need to watch the movie, of course, and the movie sucks. I think I finished it, but I might have turned it off in like the last half hour. It's terrible, and it's not at all this zany action that it looks like it's supposed to be. It's boring and way too edgy. Oh my god. And then we have One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Legend. Masterpiece. Milos Forman should be hailed across the world, which I guess he is, but people don't think of him anymore because he hasn't made a lot of movies lately. But goddamn is he good, and this is maybe my favorite of his. Amazing performances, amazing directing, even music, everything. It's just, it's a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Then we have Hackers. Why do I own this? Because it's hackers. And they say hack the world in it. That's mainly why I own it. It's a pretty bad movie, but it's fun. And then we have The Happening. Yes, I own The Happening. And yes, I think it's a better movie than people say it is. Is it goofy? Is it quirky? Is it weird? Yes. Is it bad? Sometimes. But ultimately, I like it. It was definitely the start of the downfall for M. Night Shyamalan. But I still like it. I'm sorry. I do. And then we have Happiness of the Katakuris. I don't even know if I have the original title here. Nope. Oh, actually, didn't know this. It's based on a Korean movie called Quiet Family. This is a horror musical directed by Takashi Miike. The guy who made Audition and Ichi the Killer and Yakuza Apocalypse. A bunch of movies. And this, I saw this before I knew who Takashi Miike was. Oh, he made... Nope. Did he make Oldboy? No. I don't remember. But either one, it's I don't want to spoil too much because it really goes in directions you had no idea it was going to go in. Well, because it's a Takashi Miike movie, so that's why. But definitely check this one out if you like his style of filmmaking. And then we have Happy Gilmore, one of the few Adam Sandler movies that I actually like. This one more because of nostalgia. I watched this when I was a kid. Once again, we talk about this in the Adam Sandler podcast. It's not as good as you remember it, but it's still pretty good. And then we have Hardcore. This is not a Paul Schrader movie. Paul Schrader writes really interesting stuff. And this is kind of like a proto-Taken, which I wanted to make a video about that a long time ago, but it was going to be like a 3-minute video. I was like, there was no substance to it. But this is really good. It's about Paul Schrader, who lives in like a little kind of conservative town in like Wisconsin somewhere, and his daughter goes on a school field trip to Los Angeles. Problem is, she never returns, so he has to go look for her. And if you've seen that the scene with George C. Scott sitting in a theater saying turn it off, that's this movie. I won't spoil what he's watching, but you should watch the movie. It's a really, really good movie. Another hardcore movie, just Hardcore, or Hardcore Henry as it's known in America. It's kind of funny actually. I ordered this Hardcore because I wanted this pretty nice release from Indicator. It's kind of like Arrow, but for non-schlock movies. And what I got in the mail was this, because they're both called Hardcore, and like I guess no one really orders this because it's an old movie. So I got this and I was like, this is not the movie I ordered. I ordered this one, and they were like, all right, we'll send the other movie to you, and we'll send a return envelope so you can return the faulty movie. And I just like, well, I'm not gonna return this. That's your problem. So I've never watched it. I mean, I have watched it, but I haven't watched this edition of it. It's in plastic. But they never like asked for it again. So hey, if anyone from Disc Shop sees this, and like, you know, send me a letter and I'll return it because I don't really want this. This is an okay movie. This is a great movie. And then we have The Hateful Eight in a nice steel box. I bought this because it was the most expensive edition, and I thought this must have a lot of good special features on it. But it has a like 5-minute behind the scenes featurette, and then Sam Jackson's Guide to Glorious 70 millimeters, which is like another like 5-minute thing. That's it. The movie in and of itself is great. I think it's one of his best movies. But I really wanted to know more about the making of the movie. But you don't really get that. So that's kind of a thing with his later movies. There's not a lot of behind the scenes stuff on his home media releases, unfortunately. You would think he would love that, since he's like he worked with like in a video store, a rental place, but no. Then we have, oh, I didn't even know this is a second sight release. I bought it so long ago. It's Heaven's Gate. The one of the biggest box office flops of all time. But it's made by Michael Cimino, the guy who made Deer Hunter. And this is kind of a Deer Hunter, but in the West. Not that it has to do with war or anything, but it's long, it's drawn out, and it starts with like 30-minute like party scene that has nothing to do with the rest of the movie, kind of like the wedding in the beginning of Deer Hunter. Wonderful movie, but I can see why people didn't like it. And then we have Heat, another very, very long movie, but this one, there's stuff going on all the time. This is a crime epic, which deserves its length. I recently talked about movies being too long. I talked about that on Twitter. You can follow me at don'tmakeascene_, or at the spoilercast, _spoilercast. But this one deserves its length. It is wonderful, and that shootout after the bank robbery is still one of the best action scenes ever made. And then we have Hell or High Water. My favorite movie of 2016, made by the British director David Mackenzie, who made Starred Up before this. Starred Up, not Startup. This is a wonderful movie. Once again, amazing, flawless acting by Ben Foster, like always. But also beautiful performances by Jeff Bridges and Chris Pine. This is Chris Pine, when he actually tries to act in a real movie and not a stupid Star Trek movie. Really good. And then we have Clive Barker's Hellraiser, one of my favorite horror movies of all time. And I bought this Arrow Blu-ray because they usually make amazing Blu-ray editions of old stuff like this. And yeah, they really polished up the look of this. Before this only had like a DVD and it looked terrible. And this is so sharp. But sometimes, especially when you have a murky movie like this, a lot of darkness in it, there's a lot of like grain involved in the remastering process. And this movie is so fucking grainy. Some of the darker scenes, once again, just like on DVD, you barely can see anything because there's so much grain in the picture, unfortunately. But you still get a lot of, as you can see, a lot of great behind the scenes stuff on there. There's a ton of stuff on there. So if you like Hellraiser, check this one out. Even though the picture quality isn't perfect, there's a lot of great special features in this. And then of course I still own my Hellraiser 2 DVD, Hellraiser 2 Hellbound. It's a good sequel. Actually, it's a good sequel that makes sense. But you can skip all the other ones. You can skip the third one. That's when they like, well, we have people like this this Hellraiser character. Let's turn him into a generic slasher monster. So the third one is just a slasher, And already in the fourth one, they got desperate and went into space, and it's terrible. And I don't think I've watched any of the ones. I think there's like 8 or 9 Hellraiser movies at this point, but you can skip them all. Oh my god. I can see here I'm not speaking loud enough. I think I'm losing my voice a little bit. But that's the mini bookcase done. Oh jeez. Let's see, how long have we been going? About 2 hours? Yeah. Okay, let's start up the next shelf, the next big shelf. That one. Let's start with the top shelf. We're not gonna finish this bookcase though. I can tell you that already. Oh. Fuck. I'll have to fix that later. Let's grab this. Oh. There we go. Okay, hold on. I gotta look something up here. Boom, ba, ba, ba. Oh yeah, that's it. Okay, so we start off with Hesher, a 2011 drama about Hesher, who's kind of a god character who comes into this young kid's life when he's just lost his mother and he's living a terrible life. It's a hard one to explain, but it has good performances by Joseph Gordon-Levitt and yes, Natalie Portman. And it's written by Spencer Susser and David Michaud, who I guess right before this or the same year actually wrote Animal Kingdom, which we talked about in the last episode. And Animal Kingdom is a wonderful movie, and that's why I bought that one, because I was like, hey, it's David Michaud. And it's really good. It's not as good as Animal Kingdom, but I still like it a lot. And then we have the Dwayne Johnson Hercules, because this is actually a good action-adventure movie. Say what you will. It's fun. It's exciting. It's a little cheesy, but that goes with the territory. And then we have High Fidelity, because it's a classic. And there's a lot of good music in it. And it kind of, made me want to be a collector. Which I then became, but I collect movies instead. And then we have Highlander. And I just released a video about this last month. You should check it out. I say everything I want to say about this movie in that video. And then we have High Rise, which is a Ben Wheatley movie. And for the longest time, I'll just say I haven't watched this one because it took me so long to watch A Field in England, and I didn't want to watch any of his other movies he made after A Field in England until I watched A Field in England, because I want to watch his movies in chronological order, even though I did watch his Rebecca adaptation before, so whatever. But I haven't watched this yet. I do want to watch it though, and now I can, because this is what he made after A Field in England. And then we have the Hills of Ice remake, which I'm going to say, this is better than the original. Hey, sue me. It's directed by Alexandre Aja, who made some great other horror movies after this. Most recently, he made Crawl, which is a great movie. Check out my review here on the channel. And then we have, yes, the first Hitman movie. I'm a huge fan of the Hitman games. I've always been. And this came out around the time of Hitman. Well, it came out after Hitman Blood Money. But between Blood Money and Absolution. And I was like, I need to see this. I found it on the internet. And I was like, yeah, I like this enough so that I bought it. It's not a great movie, but I am biased because I like the games. Then we have The Holiday, another, believe it or not, wonderful, wonderful Christmas movie. And then okay. Now this I've already talked about because I had a short stint where I did some Blu-ray unboxings here on the channel early last year. And I talked about this. This is the Hollow Man Collector's Edition. Well, it also includes Hollow Man 2. Now, I like Hollow Man 1. I think it's it got a bad rap for just being, you know, sleazy. But I think it's a well-made, like, thriller. So I thought it was really cool that they released this fat 3-disc edition of it. And it's basically just a collector's edition of the first one, because disc 1 is the director's cut with an HBO First Look special, Hollow Man Anatomy of a Thriller featurette, some more featurettes behind the scenes, interviews, in-picture comparisons, visual effects stuff, and then we have disc 2 is the theatrical cut, with all the special features that came out at the time on DVDs, and then they just threw in Hollow Man 2 as the third disc. It actually has one featurette, one trailer, and some storyboards comparisons. But I think that was just like, yeah, we'll make it a 3-disc edition, so it sounds more exclusive. But then, you know, you have this one makes it more collector's-y. You have this wonderful artwork on it, based on the first movie. Think you're alone, think again, the tagline for the first movie. And you have a little booklet. I don't know who released this, actually. It's not like Criterion or anything like that. I think this is actually released by 20th Century Fox that released the movie originally? No, Columbia. It's just a Columbia Sony release, you know. And that's always... Oh no, it says on here! Oh, okay, it's released by 88 Films. Sorry, I didn't even look that up. Yeah, it says there, 88 Films. There. They release some, they're like a low-grade, low-rent Arrow video company. But you have this nice little booklet with some stuff on it, and here's like the only time they recognize Hollow Man 2 on here. They put it on the back of the booklet. But it's a wonderful edition, and since I'm kind of in the minority of liking this movie, I thought I should buy the collector's edition. It is limited, and it's a movie that no one likes, so maybe they won't print that many. So now I have it. And then I have Hook. I know a lot of people don't like it. I think it's a wonderful movie that I always think of around Christmas, because this usually shows on like Christmas Eve or Christmas Day in Sweden. And it's a childhood classic, and I honestly don't know why people don't like it. I think it's wonderful. Now we have Horns, the adaptation of the Joe Hill book. I read the book many, many years ago, way before they made the movie. I loved the book. I think Joe Hill's first book, Heart-Shaped Box, is better, but this is still a good book. And I thought the movie adaptation was pretty good, actually. And once again, directed by Alexander Aha. But this is a PG-13 movie. The book is definitely not PG-13, so that's a problem. Still good, though. Then we have Horton Hears a Who, because it's really fun, and it's kind of a pseudo-sequel to The Grinch, because it's another Dr. Seuss story that involves the Who's and Whoville, with Jim Carrey in the lead. He doesn't play the Grinch, though, but still. And then we have The Host, the big break for what's his name, Bong Joon-ho. I didn't get this when I was younger and watched it, when I was like 16, 17. I still kind of don't get it, but this is where it all started, why I don't like Bong Joon-ho's movies. I just don't get them. Not for me. Not for me. Then we have Hot Rod, one of the funniest movies ever made. It's a Lonely Island production, and it is insane and wonderful. You need to watch this. You need to watch this. We have Hours. I think one of 2 posthumous releases for Paul Walker, and it's actually more of a drama, which he didn't do a lot of, about a father whose wife or girlfriend or whatever partner dies during childbirth, and the child needs to be in respirator, but this is during the New Orleans floodings in 2004 takes place. And he needs to keep his baby alive because they can't, I don't remember why, but they can't evacuate the baby. And then, electricity cuts out, there are looters, and he has to protect his baby during this crisis. It's really good, actually. Was kind of overlooked because, he had died at the time and he was mostly known for action movies. But this one, it's good. Check it out. And then we have The House of a Thousand Corpses, which I think is Rob Zombie's first movie. Rewatching it, I still like it. I'm not a huge fan, but it's good. You can definitely tell that he used to make music videos before this, because it's all over the place. But it's the best of those 3, at least. House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, and 3 from Hell. I hate Devil's Rejects. I just can't. I can't with that movie. And honestly, 3 from Hell I didn't watch because I heard it was an unnecessary sequel. And then we have How to Train Your Dragon. Dragon. Which I mainly bought because it was supposed to be a good 3D movie, so I got the 3D Blu-ray. Turns out it's also a really good movie. And I saw the sequel. I never saw the 3rd one, but I saw the sequel and it was almost better. I should check out all of these, but the original is very good. And then we have Hudson Hawk. Yes, I have Hudson Hawk. It's a French release from '99. I bought it in like 2004 when I was in France. I remember watching this on TV a lot when I was a kid, and I loved it. I can see why people don't like it and why I got bad reviews. But I have nostalgic glasses on when it comes to this. And then we have The Hudsucker Proxy, another Christmas movie. What is that, Lint? What the fuck is up with this? It's about the guy who invents the hula hoop. It's a Coen movie, so it's good, but it's not one of their best. It's still good, though. And then we have Hugo, Martin Scorsese's masterpiece. I mean, when has he not made a masterpiece? Is there one movie he's ever made that's not great? I don't think so. And this one, every time I come back to it, it's like, because you're like, oh, it was weird for him to make like a kids movie and something more accessible to families, but when you watch it, you're just like, no, wait, it's amazing, it's perfect, it's great. So, it's a magical masterpiece, like Bas Bamigboy at Daily Mail said. Yeah. It won 5 Oscars? Visual effects, cinematography, art direction, sound editing, and sound mixing. Technical Oscars, sure. But still. Shouldn't care too much about the Oscars. Yeah. And then we have the 2004 Hulk. Once again, people thought this was going to be like a comic book action movie, but it's more like an art house like drama almost with some mandatory action in it. But I actually enjoy this one a lot. This is before Marvel was bought by Disney and before Kevin Feige made everything so bland and boring. So here they just let Ang Lee do the movie he wanted to make. Sure, it doesn't work all the way, and some of the comic book elements in it does not work, but I still think it's a great movie, or at least good. And then we have the Human Centipede Trilogy. Yeah, I have the 3rd one on Blu-ray. I'm looking to buy the first one on Blu-ray, but I haven't done it yet. This is, once again, I'm going to say this trilogy is an avant-garde masterpiece. And I've just finished a new video, which is coming out this Friday, which you can already watch now on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. Links are down below or in the chat. But this is avant-garde filmmaking, not at its best, but you know, it's not what you think it is, and that's what I'm working on. I actually unironically love the Human Centipede movies. Not so much the third one, but specifically the first and second one. Let's move on. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh, shit. Oh. What? What? Why won't it go in? What's the problem? Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Second half of this shelf. Yeah. And I dropped that one. Ugh. Oh, Jesus, no! Oh, I almost dropped it. They're not in order anymore. I think they're supposed to be this way. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Hold on. I can save this. Don't fall. Oh, no. I got it. Don't worry. I got it. Oh. That was an omen. This will be the last shelf for today. I'm sorry. Oh, God. Ugh. Okay. We start with Hump Day. A wonderful Lynn Shelton movie. Oh, hold on. I gotta look this up so I don't misspeak here. Cause yes. Well, probably my favorite Lynn Shelton movie. She of course made My Sister's Sister as well, and well, some other movies. But my favorites are Hump Day and My Sister's Sister, and she unfortunately passed last year, which was sad. But still, you know, still great movie about two friends who haven't seen each other in a long time, like 10 years or something. And the one is still living kind of a bohemian life, while the other one has settled in for, you know, the grown-up family life. But he starts to, like, you know, being dragged back into the bohemian lifestyle by his friend, and they decide for Hump Day, which is this weird celebration of, I don't remember what it is. Well, they decide to shoot a straight gay porno where two straight guys are going to have sex with each other. Almost like on a dare, like, oh, you dare me to be as bohemian and weird and quirky like you? Sure, I'll shoot a porno with you, my best hetero friend. And it's a wonderful like portrait of a friendship. It's really good, actually. It's fresh, frank, and very funny. I agree with that from Total Film. Yeah. Now we have The Hunter, which I don't know. I thought this was gonna be like I don't know what I expected. It's about a guy hunting down the last Tasmanian tiger or something. but it's based on a book, and there's a bunch of like schemes and secrets, but it doesn't translate well into movie form, unfortunately. And then we have Hurricane Heist, kind of a spiritual spin-off of the Fast and Furious franchise, directed and produced by the same people. It has the font. It's a bank robbery. It takes place in the middle of a hurricane, which sounds amazing. Movie isn't that great. Not even if you like the slasher movies or if you like Fast and Furious. It's I'll talk more about this on a Patreon-exclusive episode of the Spoilercast. Once again, check us out on Patreon. Donate, subscribe to get all the exclusive stuff. Then we have I Am Legend. What's his name? Francis Lawrence directed this. I think it's a pretty good movie. I don't know if I prefer this or the original. This is a good performance by Will Smith. Ice Harvest, little comedy like crime thriller, directed on the down low by Harold Ramis before he died. Well, a few years before he died. Really good movie, actually really good. And then we have The Iceman, the movie about the Iceman, the killer. What's his name? Richard Kuklinski. Who killed a bunch of people for the mafia. It's let's see who made this. Ariel. Why is such a small text? Either way, you know what this reminds me of? Black Mass. It's like, ooh, a pretty good retelling of what happened, but it's boring. And not even Michael Shannon can save this one. I love Michael Shannon, and he's good in this, but it doesn't help. The movie is... Idle Hands. Really, this is the kind of 90s quirky teenage comedy that I love. Partly because it has Devon Sawa and two of his friends are like ghosts. And his hand is taken over by like an evil force and it kills people in their sleep. Or while he's asleep. Great movie. More people should watch that. Just like with Idiocracy. Another Mike Judge movie. Wonderful movie that it was panned when it came out, but it's a parody of like the future of America, and it's kind of come true. Honestly, check it out. It's really good. Could be hard to get, but you should be able to rent it on like iTunes or somewhere. And then we have Being John Malkovich, another movie I got from my friend's collection, and I'm gonna have to be honest, I haven't watched it. I know it's a classic. But it's written by Charlie Kaufman, and sometimes I find his stuff hard to get, so I have skipped this one. I will watch it in the future, though. And then we have another Jason Segel movie. It's I Love You, Man. Another wonderful depiction of a bromance, like genuine, like, love and friendship between two guys, without going for the obvious, homoerotic references. It's just... friendship. Well, wonderful movie. We need more of this. Because usually when you make movies about two men, it's always like fraught with homoerotic tension. Like you can't just make a movie about two guys being friends. But I love movies about two guys being friends. And this one is just that. It's just that. Kind of like Gone Fishing. And then we have I'm a Cyborg, But That's Okay. Which was the original title, or at least here in Sweden, but now it's just I'm a Cyborg. By Park Chan-wook. I saw this... This is also the Stockholm Film Festival, but like in 2000 and... when did this come out? 2008. Yeah, so I probably saw it in 2008 or 2009. It's a weird one about a guy who thinks he's a robot. No, a girl who thinks she's a robot. So she's sent to an asylum where she's amongst her peers, and she finds life and love, and it's wonderful. A little too quirky, but it's good. And then we have, I don't know, this movie, I Melt With You. I recently talked about this. I was at a birthday party, or just it was a birthday party. And I talked with my friend about this. How it is a masterpiece that was universally panned when it was released. And I can see why, because it is a movie that speaks to your soul and your heart. If you are a like sad middle-aged white man, I know it's not the most, it's not the most, I guess, what do you want to call it, woke theme for your movie. Sad white men in their 40s and 30s or late 30s. But it spoke to me since I'm kind of the target demographic. I'm a little younger, especially when I saw this first. I was like 24. But I think it's a fucking masterpiece. More people need to watch this. That's just my take on it. I know Todd in the Shadows made a video about this because it's because of the title, I Melt With You. It's from the song, I Melt With You. And he even squeezed in a little review of the movie. It's like, it's terrible. I was like, no! It's wonderful! Why would you say that? So annoying. Todd in the Shadows, good YouTuber though. Check him out if you haven't. Immortals. I bought this because it says, from the producers of 300. This is no 300. But it's okay. It's directed by Tarsem Singh, and this one is actually called Tarsem Singh Dandwar. So it's very visually stunning, but overall, it's just fine. Who's writing me? Oh, it was just YouTube. Huh. Here he is, Kai Jameson. He wrote... Alright, I will. When I told him, you should come to our stream. You weren't here, man. Or are you here now? Have you been here? If you're here, or if you've been here, man, write it in this chat, man. Anyway. Let's move on. With The Impossible. A disaster movie based on the 2004 tsunami that hit the coast of Thailand, right? Yes, Thailand. And it's a very, very well-made movie by J.A. Bayona, who made Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom. But he is a good director. He did, what's it called? El Orfanato? The Orphanage. Before that. And it's a disaster movie, but it's not a tongue-in-cheek disaster movie. This is, like, pretty heavy stuff. And I know some people thought it was whitewashed because the story is based on a Spanish family or French family or something. But here they made an English family. But this is because, English is a more universal language. So I picked it. And you have Naomi Watts and Hugh McGregor in the leads. And I think it's a wonderful movie. It's an early performance also by one Tom Holland, which you probably know as Spider-Man nowadays. And he's pretty good in this as well, even though he's just a little kid. Then we have The In-Betweeners, the first In-Betweeners movie. Not as good as the show, of course, but still pretty funny. If you haven't seen The In-Betweeners show, I think it's on Netflix. You need to watch it. It's so fucking funny. The movie's kind of like one long episode, so Never watched the second movie because it's just another one where they go on vacation, but they go to Australia or something instead of, I think we go to Greece. And then we have Inception in this very nice little, shape-shifting cover. We all know about Inception. Hold on. Because why I got this little nice edition with a bunch of with 3 discs in it. Hold on, I actually bought a super cool special edition of this. Got it. I had to pick it up. it came in a very nice steel box, which is supposed to resemble one of the sleep-inducing kits, you know, where they open up and have the tubes and wires to make people go to sleep. And in it, you didn't really get much in it. It's just, and it wasn't that because of that, it wasn't that expensive. I paid like, I think I paid 10 or 15 bucks extra to get it in this case. But, oh, fuck. When you open it up, you have the Blu-ray supposed to go there, like this. But with the, yeah. And then you get a little booklet for how the sleep thing works. You get a few poster cards and stills from the movie. And then a little, there's the most gimmicky thing, but it's still funny. You get your very own spinning top. Which, I don't know if this is going to work. I gotta hold it very, it spins! Oh! But this one eventually stops, which is good, because that means we're not in a dream world. Yeah, it's a little gimmicky, and like I said, I don't buy that stuff anymore, but I bought this back in, or did I get it in, maybe I got it for Christmas or something, I don't remember. It was back in 2010, 2011, when I still liked stuff like this. And I mean, I would probably still buy it today, because I love Inception. It's such a great fucking movie. So I wouldn't mind buying stuff like this. But that's that. Just do that for now. I don't need to talk much more about Inception. We all know it. We all love it. Even though some people don't want to admit it. It's a wonderful movie. If you for some reason haven't checked it out, check it out. And then we have Incident in a Ghostland. Now, this was my first, like, viral video I made a few years ago. It got like 20,000 views or something. This is a movie by, what's his name? Excuse me? Pascal Laugier, thank you. Pascal Laugier, the guy who made Martyrs. And you should check out my video, because I talk at length about why this movie is amazing. And I mean, it must be some sort of like classic already, because it was released immediately by Arrow. So it has some very nice special edition content. But it's a wonderful horror movie, but also just a wonderful movie in general, which you really need to check out. But I implore you to watch Martyrs first, because there is a kind of spiritual connection between the two movies. So check that out. And then we have Independence Day. It's Independence Day. I bought it because it's Independence Day. I have, since my childhood, loved this movie, but then later in my life realized that it's fucking boring. And honestly, I also made a video about this. I kind of like Independence Resurgence better than this. I kind of like Independence Day Resurgence. I don't own that one, though. It's not that good. And then we have the Indiana Jones movies. I don't have all of them. Yes, I do have Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which I loved when I saw this in the theater. For me, I loved it. I thought it was a fun adventure, but I was also like 18. I wasn't a fan of the movies, so it wasn't like they raped my childhood as South Park. They said in South Park. And before that, I did own the first two movies, which is kind of funny because I don't like Raiders of the Lost Ark. I think I've talked about this. Maybe I haven't. I should make a confession video about that then. I don't like this one. I think Temple of Doom is schlocky enough to be fun. I haven't rewatched this in many, many years. I can't tell you. But the one that I actually like now, which I didn't at all when I was a kid, is the third one, The Last Crusade. I rewatched it in 2019 when we did the 1989 celebration streams, and we did a commentary track for The Last Crusade. And it's wonderful. I really like it now. I don't know, it just speaks to me more than the other ones. Anyway, oh jeez. And then we have Inglourious Basterds, which I, up until recently, I think last year or even this year, didn't like. I had a period where I was like, no, Tarantino isn't for me. Between Kill Bill and Django Unchained, I was like, I don't like him. I mean, he didn't do much between there. It was basically this and Death Proof. Oh, I guess, and Kill Bill Part 2, of course, but, Kill Bill. Or Volume 2, sorry. But I always, for me, Kill Bill, I always associated with me getting violently ill and, like, puking and shitting at the same time. Because I bought this, and at the same time, it's the same day I bought Kill Bill, not this, when I bought Kill Bill, I also bought an ice cream, and there must have been some dirty in that ice cream, because I puked my guts out that night. And while I was watching the movie, it kind of started, so I felt very, very uneasy and queasy while watching Kill Bill, and that's always stuck in my head. So I never, after that, I don't know, for silly reasons, I was like, I don't like Quentin Tarantino. But then, of course, I did go and see Django when it came out, and I was like, no, wait. This is actually really good. But I still don't like Inglourious Basterds. And then I saw Hateful Eight, and I was like, this is really good. But I still don't like Inglourious Basterds. And then I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I was like, this is amazing. But I still don't like Inglourious Basterds. But then this year, I think, or last year, I went back and watched this for the first time since 2010 or 2009. And you know what? It's actually pretty fucking good. Who would have thunk it? A Quentin Tarantino movie that's good. It's still not my favorite, but it is very fucking good. And the only reason I own it is because, once again, it was in my friend's movie collection. I was like, I don't like it, but it's a Tarantino movie. I'll put it in my shelf. And then we have Inherent Vice, a wonderful movie that I watched it twice. I still don't really understand what's going on in it. But it's very well made, so I like it. And Joaquin Phoenix, everyone, but Joaquin Phoenix in general, specifically, gives a great performance. Great performance. And then we have Inland Empire, which is David Lynch's last official movie. There's another one. I love this movie because it's so strange and scary and weird looking, and it has all these strange things going on. But do I get it? No, I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. But you get a poster. And that's always nice. Look. A wide poster instead of that. It's that. Ooh. It's another movie I should rewatch now that I'm a little older. See if I actually get it now. But it's 3 hours long. Ooh. And then we have, yes, L'Intérieur, or Inside, French, extreme, like, horror movie. Disgusting, bloody, gory horror movie. About a woman trying to break into another woman's house on Christmas Eve. It is so violent, so dark and disgusting and doom and gloomy, and it's just fucking amazing. The guys who made this, Julien Maury and Alexandre Boustillot, I talked about them when we talked about Among the Living in the last episode. I know this was their breakout movie, amazing, and that they've made a few movies after that some of them are okay, like Among the Living and Livid, which we'll talk about in a future episode. And then, of course, they made the movie Leatherface, and none of them, especially not Leatherface, that sucks, but none of them even gets close to this. This is a masterpiece. If you love horror, you need to watch this. Yeah. Well, I'll do that. And then we have, well, let's speed run this as well. We have the first 3 Insidious movies. This one is a British edition. That's why it's a little nicer with the slipcase and everything. And I remember watching this back in 2010. I think I once again found it on the internet back in 2010. I instantly fell in love with it. It also helped that I liked the first Saw movie. So then, of course, when Insidious Chapter 2 came out, I had to get it. I think this is the best one of the bunch. This was the first one that Leigh Whannell directed. It was his directorial debut. The guy who went on to make Upgrade and The Invisible Man. And while it's not as good as two other ones, it still has some really, really scary and great visuals in it. And it's a good script. Because, you know, Leigh Whannell wrote all three of them. And then last... Oh my god, and the disc is loose in here. That's not good. Sometimes they do that. There we go. Last but not least, it's one of... I think maybe the only, like, director for hire work that Christopher Nolan ever made. It's the remake of Insomnia, or whatever it's called, the Norwegian original movie. I don't remember what that's called, but this one is called Insomnia. It's a great movie. Even though it's not his story, he still manages to make it about time, and time working in mysterious ways. Great performance by our late, great Robin Williams. Once again, as a bad guy. He's really good at playing creepy bad guys. And it's just a great movie. You need to check it out. But that's the first shelf on the, I guess, the third, in the third bookcase. And that's where I'm drawing the line for today. We almost went for 3 hours. Oh, I'm going to put this back here. There we go. Oh, we made some headway. Now we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shelves left on the third bookcase. So I think we might be able to do that in the next stream. But for now, I'm running out of steam. It's harder than you think to just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk for 3 hours. Goddamn. But I hope you enjoyed it. Not as many people in here this time. Maybe more people tune in because it said my 5K subscriber celebration stream. But whatever. Still happy everyone who watched. Thank you for watching. And I hope more people watch the entire thing in the archives. But yeah. Keep your eyes open for our spoiler cast of the new Dune, the 2021 Denis Villeneuve Dune, coming out tomorrow. And on Friday, of course, if you're not a Patreon or patron, you'll get access to the the Annabelle video I'm making, or have made, for Friday. You can watch it right now, though, on Patreon for just $3. So please check it out there if you want to. And please subscribe to my Patreon for more exclusive stuff. Early access to videos and episodes of the Madison Method podcast. Exclusive episodes of the spoiler cast and commentary tracks. We're doing a whole slew of commentary tracks in October for Halloween. So please check that out. We're going to release some here on YouTube, but most of them are going to be Patreon exclusive. I got to try to drive traffic towards there. So please check that out. Next Wednesday, I'll probably do a third episode on this. And then Thursday after that, we're kind of starting a little early with the horror stuff for October, where me and my sister will do a spoiler cast on The Shining. But that's it for now. So once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. But until then, have a good one.